Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and record this, and that way we can always go back to it. Of course, feel free at any time, unmute yourself, ask questions. Everybody probably has a lot of the same questions. We're going to kind of go through the basics, but I really want to be able to show you where we can get different resources and all of that good stuff. Now that we're live, there's so many questions, and you're going to see lots of leads are coming through. And we have a completely new system, whereas Bouge barely had a buyer or seller drip campaign. kvCORE is all about helping you work your leads. It's like having your own inside sales agent, your own assistant that's going to help kind of cultivate, probe, ask questions to get these leads engaged with you. And then that's when it changes status and all that fun stuff. So really the biggest thing when you're on your dashboard, you are going to see blue bubbles that pop up. It's your agent launch checklist. That is super important to go through. It's kind of interactive. It's going to basically have you walking through your dashboard, giving you the basics of the basics to help you navigate the dashboard. There are a ton of tools. Most agents may use 25% of all the tools that are going to be available to you. It's finding the ones that work for you, work for your business, that you can now implement. A lot of stuff you may never have had access to. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. And I'm going to do a quick search. Let's see. Because I want to show you some fun stuff. And so this week, this webinar is more about getting familiar with the dashboard, understanding some of the elements that we're not used to, that we're unfamiliar with, how the system is helping you, where we can change some of those profiles, and you're going to be bombarded with daily emails, all that kind of fun stuff. The one thing, when you have that blue bubble, it's going to have you walk through setting up your profile and stuff like that. That is one thing that's a little different because we are part of MAXTech. Your profile is actually pulling straight over from Max Center. So if you want to change your phone, your photo, title, any of that, your social links, all of that is done in remax.net, and then it pulls over. It's not automatic like most of the changes as we play with the website are, but just know it's not immediate. It feels like forever when you're sitting there waiting and staring at it, but it does pull over. It syncs a couple times a day. So any changes for your profile, make sure to change those in there. Another thing is, because we have these smart campaigns going on, it's going to send you lots of emails every morning. Part of the smart campaigns is basically not only like the buyer and seller drip, but it's also giving you tasks to do every single day based on what the lead is doing. To be able to change that, when you come over to your name and do the drop down, you want to be able to you can go to profile, and then we're going to click on settings right here. So just remember, go through the steps, and that little launch to the bubble will go away, but just know all of this information is pulling straight over from Max Center. Come right here. This is going to be some information. Any leads you import, you can make them private. If you are on a team and you upload leads, make it so your team leader can't see it or anything like that. If you don't want leads, or you're going on vacation, you don't want to be told how many calls you have to make a day, go on vacation. It'll have you start, end. If you don't want leads right now, or for whatever reason, Kristen doesn't want leads, place out of rotation. It'll take you out of lead rotation, so you won't receive leads. Here, statuses to receive calls. So this is going to basically auto create calls for you to make each day. That is part of the smart campaign. The smart campaign is not just the average buyer seller drip and everybody isn't all, one size fits all. kvCORE understands not all leads are the same, and people will get different treatments based on what their activities are with you, as well as their engagement on the website. So this is automatically going to create calls for you to make each day based on these activities or these labels and hashtags. You can turn that off. I recommend having it on, and you can say, hey, I work the weekends too, turn that on for the weekends. Number of calls you want the system to tell you to make, it'll be, if you download that app, you can do everything, has like the auto dialer thing going on. That's kind of scary. Don't do what my agents do and play with it at 4:30 in the morning, because it's like that mojo dialer and it will start calling people at 4:30 in the morning. So don't do that. So maybe you don't want 10, maybe you want 5. Like, okay, I'll commit to doing 5 calls a day, 2 leads in my database. And right now, with it being so new, it may not have 5 leads, but give it time. You're going to see your pipeline start filling up. After we do these trainings, probably once we get back from R4, we'll do like a final one, just a general, any questions. We're going to turn back on our pay-per-click campaign for the office website. With Booge, it was just, we could just kind of put money out there. I couldn't track anything, had no idea if it did anything at all. I love kvCORE. Make sure to add your Google Analytics on there. You are able to see everything that you're generating, all the leads, traffic, how long, where are they coming from. We're able to see everything. So it'll be nice to be able to run pay-per-click campaigns and actually being able to see results and modify based on that. So I may say, I'm ready to do, I'll commit to making 5 calls a day. What time do I want kvCORE to send me that email? Do I want it 8, 9? When do I get up? When am I to do that? You get to decide that. And then of course, if you do work holiday or don't work holidays, it won't send you an email on these days. So you can just toggle that right on. That way you won't receive those emails to call people on different holidays. So it's completely up to you. Don't forget, anytime you make a change within the system and you see this blue save button, click it so it'll save. So that's one part. I do want to make sure that you know, let's see, let's go over to all marketing, the smart campaign. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to, Connie, I'm going to make you a co-host so you can have controls. So I'm not like all over here. I've got faces and chat box and over here. So a lot of the, oh, go ahead.
No, I just said, okay.
Perfect. So my number one question usually is, what the heck is a smart number? So every single office has a different smart number. What this is it's on an office level. You can buy your own. I really don't feel, unless you're heavily going to be creating tons of text codes and using that maybe on a team level or something, I don't feel 99.9% of agents will not need to buy their own smart number. It is assigned on an office level. It is just like if you ever have done like Transaction Desk or any other program that emails like a client or something from the system, it has kind of a tracking code at the end of that email. The smart number is the same thing. It's just the voice over IP number assigned at the office level. So each office has all of the agents underneath each office have a different smart number. There are a lot of things that we can do. The biggest thing is, yes, the system is going to automatically be texting based on that client's journey. So when a lead first comes in, they're going to be like a new lead. They're not active. They're new to the system. They're not doing anything. And I will come over just to see, so we can see what an actual lead's journey kind of looks like. Let's just scroll down a little bit. Everything is so new. And I see a lot of rentals we're trying to figure out. I just took those off because that's kind of crazy. Never seen so many. So I'm just going to come over here. I'll just click on this name. So basically what happens, a lead is generated. They're on the website. They basically get to view 2 properties, and then there's a forced registration. I'll show you where we can change that. They're going to be a new lead. They haven't engaged. They haven't done anything. The smart system, the smart campaign is going to have a pretty aggressive campaign for a new lead versus an active lead, a client, a contract to close. So the new lead, they're going to get texts and emails trying to probe, trying to ask questions. Are you working with a realtor? Or blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of different things. It's probing, asking questions, trying to get them to engage, to bring you into that conversation, to get them to go back to your website, set up a search and all that kind of fun stuff. Once they reply, they are going back to the website, interacting with it, they're going to change to an active lead. Once they're on the active lead, that smart campaign completely shifts and changes. It's not going to be as much probing and text and all that kind of fun stuff. That's where the smart number comes in. If you've downloaded the app, I'll show you again, that was on the video yesterday. It's going to make it super easy for you to be able to respond, do everything, send emails and text straight from the app, as well as, new calls, send text. You're going to be able to send mass text. So say you download the open house app and you're doing an open house this weekend and you have, I've been hearing a lot of great success with open houses right now. So say you have 20 people register on your iPad using the open house app. They're all going to be labeled with, 123 Main Street, OH, and the date. So you're going to be able to come back. You get done with the open house, you come back, you can send a mass text to everyone that went to that open house. You're just going to do a search for the hashtag that everyone who signed up with that open house app, they get a hashtag label per se. You're going to be able to send a mass text to every single one of those, thanking them, or if you have BombBomb and you sync that, you can even send a video, but you'll be able to send a text or an email to every single buddy in one click saying, thank you so much. It was great meeting you at the open house. Maybe you can do a search for, properties that are very similar, or let them know if they have any questions, that you're there for them. So using the system to be able to help you work smarter with those one-click texts or, emails to mass amounts of people. I still say don't send more than 50 people at a time, but that's where that smart number comes in. So now that person calls or emails or texts that number back. That phone number is associated to that lead that's associated to you. So that's where that smart part comes in. We don't advertise the smart number anywhere. It's not on the office website. We use the office number. So don't put it like on your email signatures or anything like that, because if somebody calls that smart number, they find it somewhere, they call it, it's that phone number they're calling from is not attached to a lead in the system. It doesn't know who, it belongs to. So it's going to round robin to every agent in the office. So that's, it'll just go to whoever's next on leader rotation. That's where that call is going to come into. I do recommend, so that shouldn't really happen because nobody's putting their email signature or advertising that's their phone number or anything. But definitely in your phone, your contacts, add your smart number, which you can find yours when you go up to your name. This is your office smart number. So every location has a different smart number. Add this in your contacts and put a bunch of dollar signs, because when someone's reaching or texting from that number, that's a lead, that's money. So make sure add dollar signs so you answer it, you respond back, all that. But everyone has a different smart number for everyone. Everyone understand that so far? But don't call it, because if you do, I need to, let us know so we can find you, because you're going to be entered as a lead. And we don't want you to be in there as a lead unless you want to be. When you come over to, let me come back over. Okay, I think that was it where we went through. You have smart campaigns. When you're inside, if you, communicated, you sent a text, anything like that, you can come over here. Here's more actions. Here's where maybe you are, you have a husband and wife or something. You can merge. You can unsubscribe if they say stop. The system is pretty great at trying to weed out the looky-loos so that you can focus on leads that are actually coming into town or anything like that. If they don't want anything, they just went to your site. Here we go. Leave me alone. Unsubscribe them. Archive.
So can I ask you a question real quick?
Yes. Yes.
Are these leads still attached to the zip codes that were originally put into Boosh, and you said it was a round robin?
It's a round robin. each office location on the office level now has a map grid for the entire office, where they want to receive leads. So inside of the broker Max Center, the broker now, can use like a little map grid for each location that's available. So agents are not able to put in like their zip codes like we used to. So it's
do we have to physically do that? And since we have the 4 offices, each office has their own map grid. So the agents that are assigned to that office, that's where those leads would be round robin sent to these agents. Okay.
Yeah. So when you go and you probably have access to this too, you're going to go into update your profile to go to an office location. See right here, this is Sandy Springs office lead area. So I mean, it's ginormous, but so you just sit there and move it however you want. And then stay. So it is done on an office level, but which is different because we've always had our zip codes. But I think this is how kvCORE on that company level, this is kind of where they've always decided it. So it is all on a map. But you could just get
So we definitely need to look at that because that is a big area.
Yeah, that's a ginormous area. And I did remove rentals from the company site because the amount of rental leads is mind blowing at this point. And I did talk to Kristen yesterday because we can, in our lead routing roles, we can, if there are agents that want rental leads, we can set up a secondary lead rotation for just rentals or lower.
So
it would be separate, separate rotation rules. So that, if we set up a rule for anything under 10,000 or whatnot, that would be a secondary. So it hit that rule. If it didn't hit the 10,000 mark, assign it to these agents, but it won't make them miss the other lead rotations.
Okay. So Jay is asking, can I set this in the Teams platform? Were you able to figure out the disconnect with Teams?
So apparently, because I just did an onboarding call for my office in Florida yesterday. And they had 1 team out of 20 in there. So I guess what they changed last week was they are bringing the team sites after launch.
Okay.
But they say they should be there and they're within 48 hours. So I think when we onboarded was right at the same time as this change. And obviously, but we have a support ticket in there they're putting everybody in there. So nobody's missing anything. And I'm glad a couple teams, how do I find the website? It will be there under a toggle switch. You'll have, you'll be able to inside of your website and stuff like that, you'll have a toggle switch. So it'll show.
Well, the other thing that I wanted to ask, because I talked to you yesterday about this, but is there something that the agent needs to do so they know that the leads are in there and there's communication from kvCORE with these leads? Because I talked to a couple of agents yesterday that supposedly didn't get an email or a text. And so they didn't know that there was this communication in the lead that looked like they were responding. Is that a setting maybe?
If they download the app, it's super easy, but they can also, if they come over to marketing and they come over to the behavioral automation, this is going to be the more aggressive automation for the brand new lead. It doesn't copy you on all the correspondence. It basically, if the lead replies, that's when they should receive the notification. So it's almost like you have an assistant that's texting and emailing leads, trying to get them to respond.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna, I mean, oh my gosh, could you imagine if we got a text or an email every single time an assistant did anything? So the whole point is basically it's trying to probe, ask questions, to get them engaged, and then you get to come along. For me, the easiest way to know what's going on, and unless you sit at a desktop like I do all day, is to download the app, and you need to make sure to do it from in here. But here, this is the behavioral alerts. This is, to me, like one of the best features for probing, asking questions, and helping me work. Because online leads are online leads. They are not what they were 10 years ago. You got to figure
No.
every person that's searching is probably in 25 other agent databases.
Yeah.
So,
So is that under marketing? Is that where you went to the
yep,
behavior alert?
all
Okay.
marketing. The big one is going to be the behavioral automation. You can preview what everything, what's going to be happening, and you can turn on and off. I like to
Okay.
say, keep it on. I like to think kvCORE has built a science around their platform. They know our success is their success. So they're constantly doing studies and getting feedback from, heavy users. So I feel they know more than I do. So I just leave everything on default. However, you can be like, okay, this might be just a little much. You can always edit, preview, turn on, off, whatever you want to do. Maybe you just want that aggressive probing for a new lead. As they go through their journey, it is less from the system and more from you, because
Right.
it'll tell you, call, leave a message, call this day, don't leave a message, text, say this. So it'll be more, telling you what to do to help cultivate based on what they're doing in the system.
Okay.
So it is pretty nice. So the smart campaigns aren't really like a drip campaign where it's just going to constantly be trying to work. It's trying to get you engaged. It's going to send you a daily email every morning. That was in that settings of maybe who you should be calling. So it's a great system. I say leave everything the way it is, and you can always dial it back if it's too much. I mean, the one time I had, it was funny. And at the time, the agents didn't think it was funny, but it ended up being great. Is they didn't understand the behavioral alert actually sent a text because they had viewed the property X amount of times, and it asked if they wanted to go see that property this weekend. And of course they responded because, we were in Florida and we were boarding up because a hurricane was about to come in. And so they were able to respond like, don't you guys have a hurricane going on right now? But it got them to answer. And
Yeah.
the agent, I'm like, so they texted me like freaking out. Oh my gosh, the system, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so you let them know, everything happened so fast. Your assistant was doing exactly what you told them to do. And you forgot to tell them, hey, don't ask anybody if they want to see houses this weekend because we're under hurricane, because you're busy. But as soon as the hurricane was over, they were communicating throughout, ended up showing property, ended up closing. So to me, even that probing, even if like inside, like me, I'm so passive, and this is pretty probing, asking questions, trying to get them to respond. Let the system work it for you. It gives you that time to focus on income producing activities while we weed out those looky-loos and not even interested. They just happen to see the sign and they have zero interest in moving. Let the system try to weed those out so that you can focus on people who are actually looking to buy or sell. That's the way I look at it. And they know what they're doing. So that's the behavior alerts. Feel free, you can go in there and edit. It's letting you know when that's going to happen. Also under the marketing is going to be those smart campaigns. That's going to be change based on, are they a new lead? Are they an active lead? Are they a client? Based on what they are, these campaigns will constantly change as the lead changes their journey through the system. Obviously more aggressive when they're a brand new lead coming into the system. It changes when they're actively looking. And of course, it reduces mostly to giving you activities when they're clients and stuff like that. So you can edit, you can clone. What I absolutely love about the smart campaigns is you can create your own. You can clone one like, oh, I kind of like this. I want to change this a little bit, because we're going to be able to create those landing pages, create the squeeze pages, create text codes. We're going to be able to create our own smart campaigns that may be triggered by a landing page that we create, or squeeze page, or the text codes. And I'll get into that in a second. So that's really great, where we can add our own kind of drip campaign, smart campaign, all that kind of fun stuff. But you can edit. It lets you know like, okay, this is an active buyer, which is going to be different than the new buyer. And then you have the seller. So there's a lot of different campaigns. These are all just kind of automatic. They have other templates. They have a full library. And of course, you can add your own or clone one and edit it as you want to. But if you click on like a default active buyer, this is going to show you, and there's videos almost everywhere in the system. Watch them. If you haven't, if it's still new to you, we're all learning this dashboard, and the stronger our foundation is for all of these tools, the easier it's going to be when we get into all the fun lead generation activities. So that's, there's so much compared to what we've ever had before that there is a lot to learn, but it's awesome. And I love that it kind of works for us. So you can see here on an active buyer, the tasks may be more for an agent to do because they are active. They're not like brand new where we're probing. So it has all these different tasks, and you can see there's, I don't even know, like half a year's worth of, stuff that's going to automatically do. You can edit, you can change, you can do whatever you want. Again, I say they're way smarter than me, so I don't like to mess with anything, but I say set it up. If there are parts that you don't like, edit them, remove it, delete that part. It doesn't matter. It's completely up to you. And back over to marketing, and we'll get more into this, but this is the core present. We'll do classes after R4 on that, on steroids, CMA, absolutely love it. You can schedule mass emails. This is, I think, extra the voicemail drop, and it's like slide dial where it can call and just leave a voicemail, but and then you're like, huh, that's weird. My phone's sitting right here and I never heard it ring. That's my kind of calls right there. I'll send a video. Don't make me call. Let's see. Core concierge. That's if you're a heavy lead generator and you need like a live person to do that. Most of them don't do that. Smart campaigns, search alerts, scheduling mass emails, the birthdays and anniversaries. I know that's what we were focusing on as you're building your database. Make sure, if you can get a birthday, Facebook is wonderful for that. Homeversary, all that, because you can set up email or text that'll automatically go to anybody on their birthday or their homeversary. Love that. Hashtag management. That's, as we label each of the different sources, that's where we could manage all that. I do want to go into my favorite part of the smart numbers is the call and text capture. So this is all based on the smart number. And I am sure you've all seen, and I had to do a search real quick. Let's see. So text this to receive this, right? We've all seen that. I'm going to show this over. So maybe you want to text by me to the smart number for pictures and price. You can have a custom sign writer that has these text codes that you set up for your listings. So maybe instead of, text Heather, text by me, text I'm pretty, whatever it may be, you can keep that, and you're going to come in here for the text codes. You're going to add a text code for an MLS number. So maybe I want this to say by me, and then I enter the MLS for my new listing. Hashtags, maybe I'm going to add 123 Main Street, whatever that street is, because I want everyone who scans that while this is on my property, I want to be able to, they're going to be labeled. So what great for this. So, here I have it for MLS ID, the smart number. I guess because I'm in all of them, but those are the different ones. Choose the one for your office. What is great about this is one, you're not going to get a Mickey Mouse phone number because they're texting from their cell phone number. That's the number one complaint. I get Mickey Mouse phone numbers, and I'm guilty. 555-1212 all day long. But if they're texting, now you don't have to print all those flyers for the nosy neighbors, because they can you can create a QR code if you want, or you have this text code by me for 123 Main Street. You're adding it. That sign writer that you had custom made, super cheap, is going on that property. Okay, that one goes under contract super fast, but you got another listing, down the road. You're just going, I turn on I'm like, what is that light? Turn on my flashlight. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to come into this, come back into the text codes And now you're going to edit, you're going to change the MLS ID to your new listing, move that sign right, change the hashtag to the new address. So now you've edited it and you save it. So now that sign writer is going to your new listing at, 555 Main Street. And there you go. What the perfect thing is, so now everybody, they'll get the text, everything for the appropriate address. So you can reuse that sign writer all day long. Great thing, if it's in the same area, like property, you can actually with one click go into 123 Main Street, because that one's under contract, but you just got the new listing, very similar. Could have been somebody who scanned that because I thought that was pretty cool, right? Now you're able to, with a mass email, mass text, blast out your brand new listing that's similar to the one that they were already interested in, letting them know you're having an open house this weekend or whatnot. So it's super nice to be able to have these convenient, because it may be, a week, 2 weeks, 2 months. You always have this as a folder labeled with contacts who like this specific address. So now you get another listing that's similar. You can send a text to everyone or an email to everyone that scanned them. So it's super nice as far as being able to organize and all of that. Another great thing is you can actually do a message. So these are great for your email signatures, snail mail, postcards, all that kind of fun stuff. I can have, new construction, if I can spell. So maybe I want new construction as my custom code, and I'm going to say on my flyer, event, whatever it may be, billboard, text this to this. So text new construction to this. I'm going to type in a very short message. Thanks for your interest in new construction. Are you looking? Make sure to always ask a question. You want to probe because you want them to respond back. But you could even go to create a squeeze page, and we'll do this in a couple weeks when we're mastering the activity part. Create a squeeze page for all new construction in city or subdivision. Then I take that, I go into the Remax URL shortener, I customize it, and now I'm going to use it in this message and say, check out thanks for your interest in new construction. This is a live IDX feed, save it in your browser, whatever. And then click here to view all the new construction. This is a live IDX feed. So every time they click that link, it's going to show the most recent, feed from the IDX. So it's really great. And then again, maybe you have new construction on here. So you're able to collect leads, and then you're going to be able to send them follow-ups, based on, you just click on that folder for new construction. Everybody who's ever clicked that is now in there. So lots of great things, but you can only do that within the smart number, if that makes sense. But I love that part. Whew, I get all excited. So many crazy things. I don't want to get too far ahead. Let's see. Again, making sure that you set up your settings in there as far as how many emails you want to get, everything else. Playbooks, definitely check that out. You get a new listing. Come over here, new listing. Let's see. I don't have one. Let me go to the company so I can just find something. So I don't even know what I'm doing. Go to yours. I just want to show you what this looks like. So you get a new listing. You can actually, with one click, send an email to all of our agents, because we're all going to love that, right? You can say which offices, teams, or users. With one click, you can send a new listing announcement with the photos and stuff. I absolutely love contacting matching buyers. This is going to be great as our pipeline fills up. Anybody, you can actually reverse prospect. So people who are looking, similar city, price range, bedroom, bath, usually it'll tell you how many matches, 7 out of 10 matches. These are going to be great because with one click, you're going to be able to kind of reverse prospect, send your new listing to everyone in your database that matches the criteria for your new listing. And then of course you can utilize that custom code. You might automatically get one. I like to do my own custom, but it does create one if you wanted to put that in on the flyer or postcard that you send out, anything like that. Of course, then you have the leverage social media. So you have the digital promotion. basically, sharing it out everywhere. And then of course your follow-up and communication. So there's a lot of different things. If it is a seller, you can do the seller report and activate a smart campaign for them. So lots of great stuff. There's lots of different playbooks as well. So as you're trying to build your sphere, all of that, definitely take a look at that. And the one last thing I really want to go over is in your hub, I'm constantly adding information that I feel is relevant based on the questions that I'm seeing. So your homework should be going through your little checklist. Then coming over here, this is a fantastic webinar to watch. I just downloaded from the recording. It's an hour long, but it's really going to give you a great insight on the different tools and as you're learning the system. And it's basically for MAXTech, for Remax, and just kind of what to expect. Brand new to the system. I don't even know where to start. It's geared for agents. So it's really great. I like these past webinar recordings because, when I get up at midnight because everyone's snoring, I can just come here and watch them at my convenience. And just know each tab is its own class, but obviously they do these weekly. So they're just putting in the latest recording. So it's the same slide deck. It's just going to be different people asking different questions in the webinar. I don't really care which one I watch. I just like to watch that. And then there's always great articles that is relevant to whatever that class is. These are great. If you have any questions on kvCORE, I love that I can just Google that and automatically get somewhere within the kvCORE support training, all of that. So these are great unless you like to watch them live. And then of course, you can watch, here's all of the different MAXTech specific to Remax and kvCORE. So these are ones you don't need to do the admin one, but the ones for agents, definitely check those out. And then of course, these are kvCORE webinars. They probably do about 4 classes a day. So all sorts of great stuff. So I need to start, doing the core present because that blew my mind when I went to go see the presentation on that during broker owner. So I'm looking forward to taking classes at R4 because I can't wait to start playing with the core present. But lots and lots of great classes that they constantly have. You can register. I think then you get the replay link, which of course I like those. And then site enhancements. We all have our sites. Hopefully it's the same as what your Remax site was. If you want to change cities, you want different photos for the cities or the header, of course, come in here. We've got all sorts of different options and I'll do that for you. So we can, change it up a little bit, all that fun stuff, add your secondary logo. We can do all that fun stuff for you. And I will come over to website settings real quick. So if you come over to your website and then website settings, and we're on Kristen, so we can play. This is just kind of giving you different options that we have. That's a quick start guide. Of course, all of those little tutorials will walk you through what each of these means. This is where you can change the color. I can go and color match anything I want. I can even do it on my secondary screen. So whatever color you want, you can change, or you can use from theirs up here. Make sure, again, if you change anything, hit that blue save button so it actually saves. kvCORE has a bunch of different headers. You can upload your own, or you can choose from any of the photos, the stock photos. Don't worry, like when you go to upload your photo, it might look a little weird in this box. Don't worry about that. It won't look like that on the actual website. I don't just kind of shrinks it up because there's a ton there. Remember, always save once you get done. This is where you can upload. It gives the size. I do write everything right inside of Canva. If you have your own logo, upload it right there and I will show you. Let's see. So this one was mine. So if you can add your little logo, it'll show up right in there. Let's see here. Where'd I go? Where'd we go? There we are. So that's like a secondary logo. It goes right next to the office logo, just to the right. These are just different everything. Most of these are not an option. We don't get to hide office information or anything like that. This is going to be important. forced lead registration, and I don't think Kristen wants any. This is, so the normal is after somebody views one property, it's like fishing. Like, oh, you get to do a search, you can browse through my site, you get to look at properties. Now I know you love my site. Now it's going to hook you. That's when it creates that lead. So it lets you do after one property view. As soon as they bounce out, they can't click on another property until they're forced to register as a lead. You can require registration after maybe you want 2 or 3 leads, totally up to you. Or you can say, don't ever ask anybody to ever register on my site. I don't even want that to show up. If you're passive like that, maybe you want to prompt registration, but they can X out and not actually do it. So that's more my style. And then how many properties, can they look at before that box pops up? So I'm just I don't think Kristen wants that. So I'll just go ahead and don't do anything. This is going to be for, and that's what I was playing. Let's see. This header right there where it says it might have your name, and then we can have, what else do you want? Right now, I think the default is the Remax default if nothing's in there. And I should just click on our website because that makes it a lot easier as we're making changes to be able to see that. So it says, let's find your dream home. So that's the default. If you have a motto, a tagline, make sure you add that in there because that's kind of important to be able to have your tagline. That's right there in the website title. This is going to be what shows up here. You don't have to worry about that. If you have like Follow Up Boss or any of these third parties and they're telling you to put a code inside of the body or inside the header, this is where you do that. I know Follow Up Boss, to be able to add that pixel so everybody kind of talks to each other, theirs is you put it inside the body. So if you do have another program and you want to integrate it with that whole API, all of that, that's where this coding would show up. And let's see what else. Your chat, Facebook ID for your chat, that's in the about all the way down on your Facebook business page. So the chat box is there and the Facebook message from your page. Let's see, adding your Zillow. I'm not seeing this work right now. Definitely try. I'm having to manually review, but I also noticed the Zillow sync stopped working on Booge, on Real Geeks, and Chime sites. So I don't know if Zillow like changed something. Facebook did the same thing. So we used to be able to show our Facebook feed and now it just comes up as an error. So not sure if they made changes on their end, but I am not seeing those. I'm having to copy and paste under the reviews for those so don't think it's you. I don't know anybody that's working, but I also noticed that on other website platforms. So I'm thinking Zillow changed part of their code. So nothing's like quite working right. But I'll show you where to do that in a second. This is the video background. If you have a YouTube video or a video you want to be displayed in the background of your website right here, just make sure it goes up on YouTube, and then you're going to add everything after the equal sign to be able to change that. Let's see. Most of those you won't have to worry about. And this is what shows up here. So maybe I want to, add, say, home search, save. Maybe instead of sell, I want it to say home value or instant home value. Remember, click save. And now you'll see if I refresh, this header will automatically change to what we had. So that part, when you're doing changes on your website, it is instant. And if you do any other pages or anything, this is where you can create different headers, drop downs, all of that. All of your sites should already have the featured areas for a lot of the popular cities. Let's see here. Then we have featured. Of course, if you don't like any of these, you have the full ability to change at different widgets, play around with it. You're not going to break anything. Let's see, our listings you can change. As far as our listings, just listed or just reduced, you could have areas, you could have your solds, you could have a lot of different options. And that is going to be, as we go down a little bit further, the listing carousels. These are all the different choices that you have, or you can say, I don't want anything on this one. Maybe we'll put our sold, maybe I'll do this, or maybe I'll do that. So you get to decide on what you want to do. I believe on mine, I just have, I think I have cities showing up. Obviously I don't sell, I just use it for training, but so you get to decide what do you want to show up there. This is where you're going to find that, add the Google Analytics. And let's see, these are the types of properties you want to show on your website. So if you don't do rentals, you don't do commercial, you may want to take those out. If you don't want pendings or contingent listings to show, take them off. And now you can save. So that way you get the leads that you want from your website, or how you want what listings you want to actually display on your site. You have that option. And then you can sort. How do you want it to show? You can say, I want to show everything highest price first. Maybe I want to show everything based on, how new it is, days on market, walkability, popularity. I found you're going to find that there are $20,000 like mobile homes in your area. So maybe not so much using popularity, but number of pictures, you can choose whatever you like to do. I find I like the days on the market because then it has new listing, banner, and all that kind of fun stuff. As far as the default listing display, play with it. I personally like the map because it has all the properties on one side and it has the hot map with all the icons and all that you can zoom in and out. It's more interactive. I like the map myself. And then popular options would be if I wanted to make sure to add like pool or something like that, basement, what's kind of important, association, you can add that to show up in that advanced search so that that's populating right there. When you come over to the web and IDX, we are just in our settings. That's the whole menu bar, all, just the basic website settings. When I come over here to the content, that's where we have our custom pages. These are the widgets. Right now, we just have our featured area widget. It's basically saying we set this up on the office level. When you go and customize your own, it will remove what the office has done. So yes, we try to make sure your site didn't look like you lived in Boston, what the default website looked like. We wanted to at least set it up so it's area, looks like the area, but you can completely change the look and feel between the colors, all of these other widgets that you may have. You get to play around. You can't break anything because I think you can, super easy to fix it back, or you fill out that form and, oh, Heather, fix me. So, super easy. But let's see, when we come over here to the site content, this is your testimonials. I've just seen a disconnect where Zillow is not pulling over. So I've just been copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. It's not a big deal. And I don't know what's going on because I've noticed that with a bunch of website platforms. So I'm thinking something happened on Zillow's end where they changed it. This is where you can go and add custom pages. It's basically like a word editor where you just go in there and add content. And let's see, blog, you can add blogs, embeds. If you have another website, maybe you have a WordPress site that you've used for years, you actually have widgets that you can now embed on another website. So you have a property search, you just add in these codes. Like if you have WordPress, you usually have those side banners, add in the side banner. Now you have an interactive property search on another third-party website that integrates and communicates with kvCORE. Here's the whole entire website. So you have the map search, search address, search MLS, shows up really nice. And then you also have the seller valuation. So this is what it would look like. Here's the code you would go and put somewhere on a different website. So if you use Wix, if you use anything like that, you can add elements to be able to create leads from that other website. Most of those you're paying big bucks for IDX feed, or they don't have anything at all. And it's super nice to be able to have that. So you do have all that, of course, your QR code. This is going to be for your actual website and listing QR code. Oh, so same idea. You can come over here and just type in an address and it'll give you a QR code for that property. So it goes to your website. I know that's a lot already. Let's see. I get excited. That's why it's really good if you just watch, go through that checklist and watch the webinar. Because I get all squirrel brained and super excited, and they talk nice and slow. And to me, they ramble. I just want to Mickey Mouse them.
So I have a couple of questions here. One, since the teams are not connected yet, should they go ahead and set up their profile even before that happens?
Yes.
Anyone that's on a team?
Yes, because you're going to have your own independent website, and then the team has a website as well.
Got it.
So
Okay.
the only real difference is going to be on a team leader aspect, because the team leader is going to be able to really take advantage of the team routing, team leads. If you want to create leads, you can create your own routing rules, and just a lot of those upper tier level things that a team leader is going to notice. And individual agents, nothing will change on their end.
Okay. And then Nathan has asked, he's saying that he's gotten shared leads from Megan, and it still sends information to Megan. And I think it probably
notification. Oh, that's interesting, because you can share or you can assign any lead. So let me go to the dashboard.
Well, I was wondering that too, because I shared a lead yesterday, but I wasn't able to transfer it.
I don't know if I can.
Yeah, so right there where it says transfer lead, see how it's grayed out?
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
So I shared the contact, but then I'm still getting notified. So I'm still kind of
because it's like you're sharing. Although I would think you both get notifications, but he's saying he's not getting the notifications.
Is that right, Nathan?
I'm gonna have
I don't know. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So when I go to profile details, essentially it allows me to edit the details, like when I add in my own prospects or whatever. But when it's assigned to me from Megan, it still shows the assigned agent being Megan. I tried going through and editing the details. It allows me to type my name in. But when I select myself, I save everything. Everything looks good. Like I'll change leads when I'm in this current session. But as soon as I reboot kvCORE, it reverts back to Megan. So I don't know if that's something Megan has to change because I'm not the broker or the managing owner of the lead.
Yes, because she would be the main lead. It's almost like she's just kind of sharing it with you to help her, maybe like on vacation. So It's not like she's assigning it to you. She's sharing it with you. And usually when an agent does that, it's because like, help me out with them. I'm out of touch or can't. So it's really like Megan's lead. You're just kind of assisting while she can't do anything. But I don't know why.
So I'm wondering why, or if there's a way that she can have that set, like when she transfers it over, if she just needs to, like even any of the brokers, they just need to assign that lead instead of sharing the lead.
Well, right. That's what that transfer lead is, where we should be able to do it, but it's grayed out. It's grayed out in my account too.
Yeah. So that's where, and your delete contact that's weird because my other accounts have all of that. So new note. My problem child. But yes, so the sharing of a lead, it's almost like an assistant type, I need help. So of course, Megan is the lead owner on that, and she's sharing it with you so you can kind of assist, but everything is still under Megan. She wants to be able to transfer the lead, and it's like, yeah, I could care less. Here you go. And that's ideally what I think she's trying to do. But for some reason it's grayed out, and I don't know why. Because even for me, if somebody's like, leave me alone, I don't want to have anything to do with it, you can just archive it or delete it. I don't know why we don't have that. So I'll have to look into that. Because there are so many looky-loos. I don't want to be bothered by jerks. I'll be nice. And that just, I mean, that happens online because people just register, get what they want, or, and it allows us to focus on people who are truly needing our help. That's the way I look at it. So archive, lead, turn off behavioral alerts, all of that kind of information. The pond is definitely more advanced. As the funnel gets fuller, that's when I think people will use the pond more. And that's just basically kind of putting it into a pool. Like, I don't have time, I don't work this area, maybe someone else can. You move it to the pond, then it's up for grabs. Any agent can be like, oh, that's my neighborhood, let me go work this. So agents will be able to kind of pick and choose anything that's in the pond. It, instead of transferring or assigning or anything like that, just so that somebody works it, I guess. But it is kind of interesting. So I will have to look at that because we should be able to just transfer the lead.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that's there.
Mhm.
Not 100% sure, but this is also if you are talking with somebody, or maybe you have people that you've set up for search alerts inside of, your MLS. This is where you can set up. You basically do a full search, just like you were in the MLS, to be able to, add a search alert, decide how often they're going to get it, all of that. It's also, went out too fast. You can activate different campaigns if they're not on one. This would probably be more things that you'll be doing to people that you imported over or those that came over from Bouge. You may activate a different, smart campaign. Or set up the property alerts, market reports, core present, listing valuation, seller reports. Those are all great for sellers that you may have in the system.
So does it automatically do that validation run and search for information on the lead?
As they come in, yes. The new leads, I don't know that it will do it on leads that we imported over or that came over from Bouge, but new ones, yes, it'll automatically do that. And then there's also, where we are. If you have a subscription to Spokio, you can also click on that and find out their entire history. Has anybody ever looked at their information that's on Spokio?
I haven't, I'm afraid.
It's pretty crazy. And I don't know, there's like nothing on TV anymore. So I think I've watched Catfish all 8 seasons twice now. I'm like addicted to that show, and holy crap, there's a lot of information about us online. Kind of scary.
That is scary.
Yeah, this one's pretty cool. The facial recognition's pretty cool.
So Christy is also asking, she said that her app keeps freezing and she's uninstalled and reinstalled. Is that something that you've heard is happening?
I have not. I used to love their app. But for myself, I just got it. It went live overnight. So I haven't, but I haven't heard that. I would definitely maybe use the chat bot right here and go to support. I don't know if it, depending on updates, the type of phone. I know all of their apps I always loved. And right now, I guess we don't even have the search app we used to have. That was my ultimate favorite. I guess they're working on a new one. But no, because that's one thing I hated about Bouge. I could never even log in, or when I finally could, it just kept crashing, and that's pretty annoying. But I have not heard of that. But of course, it's still pretty new for a lot of us. So I will kind of ask some people to see if they're running into any of that as well. And I haven't had a chance to download that, but definitely on your dashboard right here, download mobile app. That's where text it to you. Number one question is not sure how to log in with your RE/MAX login credentials. And then this is the Open House app, which is so much fun. I love it. Open House has never been easier, especially for follow-up.
All right. Well, that was a lot of information.
Yes, but it's recorded. It's new for all of us. We're all learning. We're going to be diving in. I'm building squeeze pages and landing pages for your office now. But of course, we really want to be able to understand the foundation before we start trying to do any lead generation and all of that fun stuff. So definitely, I would say this week's homework is to clear your blue bubbles, go through all those steps, and really go to watch this recording that's in your hub. I've got some other videos that are also part of the pre-recorded videos. And I've just been adding some videos that I find useful that kvCORE has. But just know there's a ton of resources when you're in here. Another great one is if you come over here to support and training and you come over here to the learning portal. This is fantastic. It would be right after the webinar is this agent quick start. It's a bunch of little 6-minute videos, but it's really going to help understand the database, how to work it. That way, when we start lead generating, it's just going to be easy peasy to understand like what these behavioral analysts, what all this stuff is doing in the back end, to help us. This is just a really great way to start. And then we'll get into the core present and all this other stuff, but they have more courses and training and everything, and they don't get squirrel brains like I do. So they do try to keep it on task, which is always nice. And I think that's it. Let me see. I see one more message. Nope. Okay. So we're good.
A couple of quick questions,
Yes.
if you could help out.
Yes.
Just in regards to adding lenders, is that for the brokers to add in as well?
Only brokers can add
okay.
a lender in.
And
from what I read,
I think there was one other question. What was it? It was, past transactions. Is there a way to log that stuff on your, because I mean, essentially I was only able to put in addresses for some of my clients or their most recent closing date in their like profile. But I was curious because it wasn't like tracking, I think in my transaction portion of it, there wasn't like a way to add a transaction right off the bat. Is it supposed to be linked directly to MLSs or how does that work?
No, I think the transaction part is more if you have a dot loop or sky slope. I believe that's where that integration comes in. I've never tried to use the transaction part without that. I know a lot of brokers use like sky slope and dot loop and use kvCORE, so everything's in one place, but without those, I've never even looked at the transaction part of this. I haven't heard it's like absolutely wonderful because I think it's meant for those other integrations.
Gotcha. I was just kind of curious on it because I was like, well, let me just try and stay on top of it since it's new. But
no, I totally agree. And I think a lot of people see the transaction and, that would be wonderful. I haven't played with it because we used a completely separate platform that would not talk to kvCORE. So we just, never, it's like who wants to manage it 1,000 different places. So I never played with that part of it.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And just know here's where that quick start guide is. Training, marketplace. I wouldn't even bother with the extra bells and whistles until we get that. But next week, we'll get more into the squeeze pages and all that. And as you start, navigating through the system, any questions, feel free to reach out to me, or we're going to do this again next week and going more into the advanced part of it. So I'm going to be putting this recording inside of that hub, so that way you can always go back to it as well. And I think that's it. I'll go ahead and stop the recording unless anybody else has any other questions. No, I know that was a lot.
That was a lot. My head is spinning.
I'm sure I don't make it super easy because I get all excited and it's so easy to jump all over the place because I know what it can do. And I'm, mostly stoked about some of these cool things. So
it is very exciting and it's so much better than Booge. Oh my God.
It's going from preschool and we just got our PhD, but
yes, right.
There's going to be, obviously there's a big learning curve inside of all that. So, foundations, and then we'll be able to grow because we'll be building out squeeze pages and landing pages and hashtags and this and that for you guys to be able to use. So I'm super excited for that. And we can-
Yay. So Christy is asking, do you think we can link FMLS to the transactions area?
I believe the transactions area is for dot loop and SkySlope.
Okay.
So it's usually not tied to an MLS unless that MLS provides like dot loop and SkySlope for the, agents. So I don't know about that. There isn't in the marketplace, there's like a third-party integration. Some have like an API code that you can integrate and all of that. So we'll get into that next week because that's more advanced. I already feel I'm overwhelming everyone with all that. Oh, so what Christy just said. So that's, I know, I see your trainings. Renee, you should check that out. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I think that's your area. I don't know if you see that.
The Remind.
Okay, I would have totally said that wrong. I just know I see it on a lot of your trainings. No idea what it is, but.
So that's our document creation platform that's connected to FMLS.
So not like transaction desk or anything like that.
No.
it's-
But
and
we'll have to look into it because I have no idea.
And a lot of times, like, I have a lot of agents that use like Outbound Engine, Follow Up Boss, and all of that. I just Google kvCORE plus whatever it is. And one, I'm going to see, a video or tutorial, or it has the step-by-step on how to be able to integrate and the coding and where to put that. So that's Google's like your best friend because
Yes.
everybody's been doing videos. kvCORE has so many training articles because they've been around for a long time. So they have thousands of, all their webinars are on their YouTube. They have tons of support documents. So I just Google, kvCORE plus whatever it is I'm trying to do. And there's always something out there. And that's really been able to be helpful for me. So you never know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Alexis, put that on your list. Think she's ignoring me.
I think she's frozen.
Oh, okay.
She said she will.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought she was just acting frozen.
No, her screen's frozen.
Okay,
She looks hard at work.
she does.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. That was awesome.
You're welcome.
I'm
And
sure
I
we'll have a
will,
ton of questions.
Yes, and feel free, email me. Oh, there she is. She's frozen. She's like, you figured out how to clone yourself.
Yes.
I did.
Awesome. Well,
Excellent.
I'll stop.